Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to review your final essay assignment in this class. This is called the self-reflection essay assignment. You will turn in this essay just at the time when you complete your final assignment project. Since it's a reflection essay, you are going to be reflecting, let me say this, on some of the writing activities, assignments you've completed in this class as an active learner. Of course, you may talk about some assignments you did not complete, but then you've got to explain your rationale, why you didn't complete it. I'll be expecting you to be truthful about your experience in this class, about your work in this class. Remember, I'm the audience. If you're saying something that is untrue about your work, I can speak to it and I would react to it because it won't be a true reflection. Think of it. When was the last time you looked at yourself in the mirror? If, say, you had braces on and you look at yourself in the mirror, would the braces all of a sudden disappear because you don't want it to be there? In other words, when you reflect sincerely, you're able to talk about and see things that are actually there. You do not reinvent things, like reinvent the truth. So that would be deceitful if you are writing a reflection that is not truthful. So as I've said, this is the assignment handout, and I've got expectations as well as specifications. So on the first page you will notice that I made a case for self-reflection. Reflection is something we all do. We do it daily, whether we like it or not. Even at your workplace, your boss may call you to ask you to complete a self-evaluation. How did you do? You do it when you are in a business too. You evaluate your situation, if there is a competitor, if there are significant threats to the business, if there are business opportunities. That's how you progress as a business owner. If you are into social media, you are reflecting about your posts, the comments, the feedback you get. And if you like to journal, I'm sure you hope that people will read your journals and perhaps they would do something with that journal. Then of course we have people who write letters, biographies here and there. These are sites where people will feature deep reflection about themselves, their lessons, their history, and so on and so forth. So reflection is nothing new. We all do it. Or if we don't want to do it, there is no room for growth. Because how can you say you're growing if you cannot reflect on where you've been and where you need to go as a business or as an individual? So reflection is helpful as a writer. For this assignment, you are going to be reflecting on writing activities, assignments that you've completed, and you are going to talk about this according to the specifications I've highlighted. Now, this is one way to get started, as I've highlighted on page 2. I'm not just giving you this assignment because I want you to write everything that you've learned in this class or everything you've not learned. That's not the purpose. That would just be giving me what I want, what I already know about. I know what assignments you've completed and the assignments you didn't complete. So don't tell me some assignments you completed. I already know about that. Rather, I expect that you will review the syllabus and the schedule, just to get a sense of what we've been doing so far, in case you've forgotten. Maybe due to the Thanksgiving break, you had a lot of turkey, or for whatever reason. Of course, I know you're taking other classes and you may need a refresher by looking at the course syllabus and schedule or the course calendar. Then the next step you want to do is to look at the list of topics and activities we covered in the class. The theme of the class is something you should pay attention to. I want you to reflect on your discussion posts, individual assignments, and collaborative group projects. feedback from the instructor, your response to feedback, lectures and discussions in this class, or other activities you completed or engaged in this class. Then after doing that, which is step 3, you want to look at step 4. I highly suggest you follow the procedures from step 1, 2, 3 as you're reflecting. Then you want to get started with reflecting about your experiences. You may want to start off by writing in longhand or just drafting your thoughts on a Word documents. Whichever form of writing preference you have. Now, in order to illustrate one practical step to begin, should you be struggling with how you need to get started or perhaps start drafting, here is one sample I found from the University of Melbourne, University in Australia. So I've just copied a paragraph here. It's very concise. You're not going to do the same. I'm just showing you, illustrating how it can work in a particular setting, especially if the reflection is just in one paragraph. So basically, we have the principle, or rather, we're using the acrostic DEEP. I've called it description, earnest interpretation, earnest evaluation, purpose, or plan for the future. So I expect that you will follow the specifications I've outlined. So blue is description, red is interpretation, green is evaluation, and yellow is purpose or plan for the future. So in your essay, your reflection essay, I'm not saying you turn in one paragraph and say done. That's not it. But I'm giving you an idea of how you can apply this when you're writing. Of course, I go further to explain how you apply DEEP. In other words, that's what's going to guide you in responding to this self-reflection essay. And pay attention to the disclaimer I have here. I'm not asking you to color code your essay. I've once had a student who did that in his submission, and I'm like, I didn't want you to do that. I just did the color coding here because I'm trying to explain it's for instructional purposes. Now, when you move through the handouts, you will notice my descriptions. This is what I'm expecting to see on your reflection essay. First is that you're going to describe what you've learned in this class. And of course, I expect you to consider the themes: social media, technology, academic writing, and rhetorical writing. This is an interesting topic because technology is relevant to all of us. At the same time, we know that people can abuse technology. People are abusing technology, and people can also use it for good. Like in this class, I have seen students who've used chatbots, even though I warned against it in the beginning that you guys shouldn't do it. So that's interesting because we're talking about technology, and people are using technology in order to do their work, or using it in a way that is being abused. I expect you to earnestly interpret your experience, key moments in this class. Most of you, if not all of you, have had, I would say, moments where you didn't turn in your best work for whatever reason. I'm not going to go into the excuses you gave me, but you know yourself as a writer, where your weaknesses are. I want you to talk about those weaknesses. You want to talk not just about the weaknesses, but you want to talk about what exposed it. Or maybe you already know this, and what you need to do to develop, or should I say, what you need to do to work on those weaknesses that you've seen. Then the other one is earnestly evaluate your effectiveness in writing activities. Maybe it's that assignment you turned in very well, that you did a very good job. Of course, you can evaluate how you did on the assignment. If you are in the category of students who did so well in every activity or assignment you completed, you can mention it, but I'm sure that there are aspects of the feedback I've given you that shows areas where you need to continue to grow, areas where you need to continue to improve. So you want to talk about that. No one is perfect, and you've dropped the ball at some point, I'm sure. And if you tell me that you did everything perfectly, guess what? I have access to all the feedback I've given you. I will just look at it, and if it's a lie, definitely you're asking me to take out some points, because I'm not going to give you the full points for making up something that isn't true, or especially if it's not based on my record. I don't see that. I don't see what you're talking about. If you're saying you did so well on so and so, but then there's no evidence that you did so well in it. Then lastly, purposefully map out a plan for your future needs as a writer. I'm asking you to think beyond this class. If you are, with the exception of those in the hard sciences, if you are in the humanities, with psychology, sociology, political science, law, and so on, you are going to be doing lots of writing. Even if you're not so much into writing, maybe as a scientist, you still have to take documentations of different things. So I want to see, okay, or even if you don't have a plan for that, you're going to take English 102. I'm sure many of you will take English 102. So you want to map out a plan for your future as a writer. Where do you see yourself going? Maybe in 102, or maybe in another class you will take in the future. Then lastly, as I've mentioned, you want to consider all this. Next, I've had some recommendations that I've given you guys on how to get started. Okay, the formatting is here. It's pretty much the same old thing you guys do all the time you submit work in my class. You know what I ask you to do and what I expect. This is it. The minimum pages, 3 to 3.5. If you want to go beyond, go for it. You shouldn't be writing anything under 3. You're in 101. This is a writing intensive course, so don't be so. This is not a lot of writing. I think you all can do it, and you will do it. Then of course, it's what, 100 points of your grade. How do I grade it? Well, just do what I've asked you to say. What I've asked you to do, as specified on page 3. And these are my sources. And that's my review for the self-reflection essay assignment.